Flesh for ears and flesh for eyes, deteriorate and God in disguise, like weird and giddy, wasting away in the trance of the chameleon's maniacal gaze. Spirit is willing and the flesh is still weak, and corpses lay rotting and corpses still reek.
Hi, Metal Fro here with another video review. This time we're covering Scaterd Few's Sin Disease, which is their debut album. This is a monster punk album, and it's not just a typical punk album. There's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of gothic rock influence, hard rock and metal influence, hardcore punk, and that's kind of the foundation, but it really is a very layered, studied work. There's a lot of energy and intensity to it, and it's very immediate when you listen to it because, you know, you're right away you're like, wow, this is like, you know, in your face punk rock. But there are a lot of things in the background, a lot of layers going on, a lot of subtle things that you'll notice upon repeated listens, which is one of the things that's so rewarding about the album, is that upon multiple listens you really start to hear all kinds of things that you didn't hear the first time, little sounds, keyboard bits. You'll notice the intricate solo guitar work that is atypical for punk rock. You know, typically with sort of traditional punk, if you will, the guitar solos, if there are any, generally just follow the melody line or the vocal line, but the guitar solos in this particular album are a lot more intricate. They follow more of a hard rock, heavy metal type of sound and style. However, they're still very much punk rock in origin and in sound, and so aesthetically it works very nice within the music. Another thing that that I have to say is the production of the album may sound a tad primitive, but actually it sounds pretty good. For its time, it sounds good, and also the sort of stark, cold production that it has really lends itself to the album in terms of the lyrical themes and the overall kind of feel of the album. There are a couple of tracks on the album that are a little bit more warm, if you will, in terms of their sound, but overall it's a very cold sound, and I think that works very well for the sort of darker atmosphere and certainly the lyrics, because there are so many, you know, very intense themes and things that are touched upon. The production works very well for the album in that sense.
Despite my affliction and incantation, strip my members bare. Kiss me, my sins, contaminate, permanently regurgitate. Let our heart beats annihilate. Why had you treat what I was reprobate? Martyr's obsession and not my addiction. The epitome of Inca-junkie. Do it up, gonna kick it tomorrow. It's horror show for decadence, only the parasite is burned on. We'll call him Johnny Right, time to bake steel and cow. Sucking on a glass gun, no freedom in basic. Sucking on a glass gun, well I can't understand. This white line worship, how it hinders every man to seek Behold the principalities that are changing with the move of Yahweh's hand. They that understand take heart. His refuge is everlasting. Yeshua's name be praised. The night of sorrows passing shouts. Let
And there you heard some song samples there. Of course, at the beginning we had the first track, Kill the Sarks, followed by the second track, Wild Reprobate, at the beginning of the samples there. You also heard track 7, Glass God, No Freedom in Basing, one of my favorites from the record. You also heard track 10, A Freedom Cry, which is kind of a reggae jam there on the album. And also track 12, Wonder Why. This is one of those albums that is truly a landmark release within punk music in general. But again, specifically as a Christian punk album, even though there had been really good albums that had come out before this by bands like Undercover, Pat Nobody, Lust Control, and One Bad Pig, and others, this is one of those albums that truly kind of indicated that Christian punk had arrived in a lot of ways, and really people heard this album, they set up and took notice. And so for that reason alone, this album deserves to be in every Christian rock fan's collection. But I would challenge anyone, even those who aren't necessarily into punk, to give this album a chance, because it transcends the genre that it's based in, which is punk rock, because it has so many different elements and it has so many different things going on that it really elevates itself above the traditional sort of punk rock kind of mentality, and it becomes something else entirely. And that's the mark of a great album and a great band, is they're able to take the stylistic convention and tenets that they adhere to and, you know, turn them on their ear, or find a way to really make it their own and do something unique with it. And it's my opinion that Scaterd Few did that and then some. Thanks for watching. I'm Metal Fro, and we'll see you next time.